And in closing here, we brought up the inflation briefly earlier, but how much does it worry you, this idea of runaway or rampant inflation? Because you brought up the elderly in some of your interviews and speeches. They're on fixed incomes. How will they survive with runaway rampant inflation? How will they even feed themselves?
Yeah, I think it could be disastrous, and that's why I think you can have sort of civilization-jarring event if you have 25 or 30% inflation. You think about and you read any local newspaper anywhere across America, when gas prices go up 20 cents or 30 cents, that's what everybody talks about and what everybody writes the letter to the editor. When that happens in the grocery store as well as the pump simultaneously, you're going to have a real problem in this country. I mean, currently we're raising Social Security benefits about 2.7% a year, and they're lagging behind even real inflation at that. And so senior citizens are getting pinched on that. But it's going to be worse. When you have 20 and 30% inflation, you can never keep up. So I think there could be some real problems. But that's why we need to be out there with the answers and presenting a case for what happened and how we can correct it so the answer doesn't become just a strong leader who wants more government.
And Rand, just in closing here, I want to talk about how people can get involved in your campaign or how they can contribute. I'm going to have something directly on your interview page that will link to your website so people can go over there and make a donation. And as everyone who has been listening to our network knows, this is a nonpartisan network and we have people on from both sides of the aisle, but I would encourage every single one of you to please go contribute to Dr. Rand Paul's campaign. We'll have the link directly on the website. Rand, if they want to go directly to your website on their own, how would they do that? Can you just tell them where to go and how they would do that?
Yes, if you go to randpaul2010.com, you can visit our website. We've got a large issues section. There's also the ability to donate directly on the website, and that's randpaul2010.com.
And also, aren't you going to have a big fundraising event on the 23rd of this month that's being organized?
Well, a lot of the grassroots have gotten involved because 23 U.S. senators are going to be raising money for my Republican primary opponent. And so they thought it would be fun to have their own little fundraising that day. And they have a website called KentuckyFight.com. And they've had fun playing around with pictures on there. And 17 of the 23 senators voted for the U.S. bank bailout. So we immediately came out and said, guess what? We won't take any money from any senators or institutions that are taking money from the bank bailout. And so we've had some fun with that, and we think we may raise as much money as they do on September 23rd. So it's kind of like a little mini money bomb that they're trying to set up and ignite on September 23rd. But you can check it out at our main website, randpaul2010.com, or you can also look at this pledge website, which is KentuckyFight.com.
Rand, I know we need to close here, but these guys are basically trying to keep, and I don't want to pick on any party, they're Democrats or Republicans, but they're basically trying to keep business as usual. They don't want you to win. They've handpicked a candidate, and they want to have this guy go in rather than you. I mean, it's unimaginable to me that I live in a country where you would not, in the environment we're in now, win in Kentucky and defeat that business as usual agenda.
I think we have a great chance to do it. We've already had polls that have shown us dead even with the Democrat, the leading Democrat in the fall, and within striking distance of the establishment Republican candidate. So I think it's pretty amazing how far we've come, and we have not yet run any television advertising. We've raised enough money that there are no questions of our credibility, and it's a dogfight. I mean, we're right in the midst of this, and we will give them one heck of a fight. It's hard to beat the establishment, and so it is a little bit of an uphill battle, but it's amazing how far we've come in such a short time, and we're ready to shock them and the country when we win this thing.
Well, Rand, thank you for joining us, and I want to say to the listeners, we're going to try to have you on repeatedly all the way through to your victory and try to help raise some funds for this cause, and I thank you so much for taking your time to join us on King World News.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Thank you for joining us at KingWorldNews.com. Remember to tune in next week where we will have legendary Jim Sinclair from JSMindset.com, also Chris Whalen from Institutional Risk Analytics, and much more. Also remember to go to our Gold Plus page for exclusive weekly interviews with Ted Butler and Gatta, and the business section for Barry Ritholtz.